the recording for the 7.03 quiz. There will only be 2 quizzes in Unit 7 in Part A of your U.S. History course, the 703 quiz and the 712 quiz. This is your first quiz in Unit 7 that you'll complete, and it includes information on Lesson 701, the Great American Desert, 702, the Changing West, and 703, the End of a Way of Life. If you click on Lesson 703 in your course, you can enter after seeing a couple of reminders. Please make sure that you click Save Answers as you go through your test, and at the end, click on Submit for grading so that it is sent to me correctly in the grade book. I'll be reading each question and each of the question's answer options. You need to select the correct option for that answer. And there is a total of 10 questions on this quiz for 2 points each, which is not typical of your quizzes. Usually your quizzes have 1 point each per question, but this quiz is worth 20 points since you do not have a unit test for Unit 7. You just have the 2 quizzes and the discussion for 709. Let's get started. Number 1, which best describes the reasons people choose to settle in the West in the late 1800s? An interest in the fauna and flora of the West, a desire to reduce the Native American population, a severe economic depression in the East, or the desire to start a new life and seek fortunes. Number 2, knowing that blank companies would encourage a settlement of the West, the U.S. government awarded them huge amounts of land and money, oil, railroad, timber, or ranching. Number 3, the U.S. government played blank role in the building of the Transcontinental Railroad. Was it no role, a very little role, somewhat of a role, or a significant role? Number 4, which best explains why the era of open-range cattle ranching had ended in the West by the 1890s? Cow diseases, decreasing popularity of beef in the East, the admittance of Oklahoma as a state in severe droughts, overgrazing, blizzards, and barbed wire, or the establishment of large farming corporations and barbed wire. Number 5, what Western industry got its start in the Northwest, providing much needed material for a growing nation? Was it oil, textile, mining, or the timber industry? Number 6, which is most responsible for the rapid settlement of the Great Plains? The completion of the Transcontinental Railroad, the Homestead Act of 1862, the relocation of Native American peoples to reservations, or the Forest Reserve Act? Number 7, which best describes what life was like for farmers on the plains? Very hard work, long days, crop failures, severe weather, and the possibility of losing the farm? Or was it crop failures, 8-hour work days, moderately hard work, and very few unexpected setbacks? Could it be many unexpected problems, fairly easy work, but mostly successful harvests? Or the last one, bountiful harvests, pleasant weather year-round, and very few setbacks and short work days? Number 8, most of the families that settled on the plains started farms in Colorado, New Mexico Territory, and Kansas? Or was it Indian Territory, Wyoming, and Nebraska? Was it Montana, Idaho, and Utah Territory? Or Nebraska, Kansas, and South Dakota? Number 9, which best describes relations between Native Americans and the U.S. government between 1850 and 1880? There was little conflict. Most American Indians were content to live protected on reservations in the West. There was some conflict as a few Indian peoples resisted forced relocation to reservations and fought with U.S. troops. There was conflict. Most Native Americans refused to give up their way of life and successfully resisted being forced onto reservations. Or the last one, there was continual violent conflict as the U.S. government forced American Indians onto reservations. Number 10, and your last question is, a change in policy towards American Indian nations occurred around 1880 when the government decided to exterminate the remaining Native Americans in the West. The government tried to assimilate Indians through education and the Dawes Act. The U.S. Army began to routinely round up Native Americans and execute them. or that Congress passed legislation forcing Native Americans to adopt mainstream white culture. When you have finished your test, again, make sure to save your answers and then click submit for grading so that I receive it in the grade book. If you have any questions, please let me know. Good luck on your quiz.